and didn't really pick up on it during it, but then it makes sense now that it's not a hero movie. He's an anti-hero.
Oh, okay. Wait, explain that more.
Because
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so the original person that wrote the books, he noticed that people were
like loving him,
loving,
like, oh my God, Paul.
calling Paul Atreides as a hero, but he's an anti-hero.
Okay.
It's something that you shouldn't be following blindly. And
wow,
that's what he
said that.
Yeah, that's why he wrote the other book, trying to get that message that this is an anti-hero. He's not a hero.
Whoa, what other book?
Because
what other book?
No, like the next book after the Dune Messiah. So in Dune Messiah, I think he's supposed to explain that. So that's why the director for this one, he was explaining that he has some changes from the book to try to get that message of an anti-hero into it. Because if you see like what the mom was doing and what he was doing, it was like
I felt that too.
Yeah, how to convince people to, because that was like, wait, convince the weak, convince the thing. That's telling you that these guys are not the heroes. They're anti-heroes, right?
But yeah. That's interesting, because I did notice that too. Like the way they're speaking, I was kind of like, why are you making this sound like almost like a cult?
Yeah.
You know, like, so there's like the Messiah, or let's take the example of Jesus, because it reminds us of like Jesus, right? So Jesus probably had, actually, no, let's do Buddha. Buddha has a better story. So Buddha achieved enlightenment for himself, and then he was like, hey man, don't follow me. Like, these are the steps I took, but you know, this is what I was doing. But then they created like a religion around the Buddha, right? And he was anti-religion. So is that what you mean? It's like the mom was putting all the steps in place to make her son the Messiah in their minds, even though he didn't really want to be. Remember, he was getting mad. She's like, well, we gave them hope. This is not hope. Yeah.
Right. But at the same time,
he knew.
No, but at the same time, even though he knew, he was still doing something. So by convincing Shihan, or the girlfriend, right?
Johnny
or Sean, I forgot how to say it. But anyways, so
they just kept saying Johnny.
Yeah. It's spelled like Chian or something like that.
Zendaya.
Yeah, Zendaya's character.
There you go.
She was technically a skeptic, right? But she did see some things in him. But for him to connect with her was a way for her to send the message that no, he has something. But even though at the end even though she's not with him at the end, right?
Because they converted the hardcore atheist.
Yes.
So like so she was the most anti-Messiah.
Exactly.
And if they could convince her, then they kind of like they won them all over, because that was the hardest one.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But he used love to do. Wow, I don't know. Is that accurate? Because now we're kind of like thinking of it as super meta, and I'm like, was that the intention, or are we just like piecing it together here?
Yeah, because I think that's what he was trying to. Because in the books, she's supposed to be with him at the end, so she doesn't leave him. So that's a change that's what he was trying to do. To get that message too. Yeah.
See, all right. So that was my thought. Remember, we left the movie theater, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to read this book. Is the book going to be the same as the movie, or like better, or something? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know. I think this is what I got was like the director understood what the writer was trying to say, so he's doing it. He's doing some changes to make sure that message is heard, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Because he noticed that people were viewing him as a hero. That's why he wrote the other book to explain, which I don't know too much about what's in that book of the Dune Messiah, but it's supposed to explain like that he's the anti-hero.
How many books passed? Like, was that within the 6?
So like, I think that
we Googled.
So the 6 I think includes a lot more stuff. I think it's just the 3 books. Book 1, 2, and 3 is the one that's about Paul Atreides, I think.
And then 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, they're like,
and then Messiah
they're later on.
Later, or has
No, it's Dune, then Dune Messiah.
Wait, what?
Dune is the book, first book.
Okay.
Book 1, then Dune Messiah is the book 2.
Oh, oh, interesting. So, like in the 6-part series, the Messiah is the second book.
Yeah.
In the 6-part
Yeah,
series.
yeah, yeah.
So, what are we watching right now? Is that just Dune? Is
It's
that
Dune. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not even Dune
So
Part 2.
yeah, I think he said that. I'm not sure if they're going to make that the name of the third movie. Could be Dune Messiah. Could be the third movie.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Interesting. Okay, let's deconstruct a couple of things here. Um, that I felt like need to become more clear because it's like, all right, so you have all these people. I'm gonna relate it to things that I was linking it to as the movies. So remember the Congo stuff, like the red cobalt red,
Yeah, yeah.
and like how we need that electricity. It reminded me, need that for like our electricity. It reminded me of Cobalt Red. Like Dune was kind of like Cobalt Red. You know, like the situation's bad, nobody can really live there. Obviously, they're not slaves mining for the stuff, but it was like that planet was so rich in resources that fuels the rest of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Or like our civilization, right? If you're looking at Cobalt Red. And this kind of movie was like the people of the island who are being like abused for their resources fighting back, right? To like take back their sovereignty. But I was kind of like, why do we care about this planet so much? You know, but you almost have to remember because like it's the context, right? Because I'm like, why is this huge battle happening on Dune? Like, why do people care about these like people who live on Dune? You know, why do they have like this Messiah story? But it's like it just comes down to the fact that you just need something from this planet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now think about how dumb this movie would be. So this is what was tripping me out when I was watching the movie. So imagine how dumb this movie would be if they found a different planet with a better resource. Nobody would care about Dune at all. They'd all just leave that planet and go to another planet.
Yeah.
So it's like, why do we care so much about this Messiah story? Why does the galaxy care about the Messiah story? They don't care. They just care about the resources in the place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's so trippy when you think about that because it's like on the planet, you have this story about like fighting back and like saving their society and like not being slaves anymore, getting their home world again, right? Like that's what the people wanted who wanted Paul or Timothy's character to like save them. But if you zoom out, if you don't need that planet anymore, who cares about your Messiah, bro?
Yeah. Right.
Isn't that weird though? It's like we care so much about this one thing. It's almost like the story of Jesus, right? You're like, oh my God, Jesus is like you whatever, and then you blow up our planet with climate change or like a nuclear explosion. It's like, who cared about Jesus, bro? Like it's all just like a weird story that we're telling ourselves in our head.
Yes, yeah.
That this is important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so wild because that's also what they did. They hijacked the story in everyone's mind.
Yeah, and the ones who put that story out there, it's generated hope, right?
Yeah, but hope is like. Remember that other part? Man, there's so many great things in this movie where she was like, okay, wait, hold on. I think the reason why I like this movie better than The Matrix is The Matrix is like, yeah, we could be slaves in a battery, right? And it's like, but that's hypothetical. Like, what is reality? That's really what The Matrix brought you. Like, what is real?
Sure.
Okay. But the thing that Dune is, the reason why I like it is it actually shows you how the world's working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like belief systems, economics,
Yeah.
like it's like who cares if we're a brain in a vat, bro? Like that's secondary. This is what's literally happening right now. But they don't see it through the movie because they're like, oh, it's just like because I was trying to think of it like if I was a little kid watching this at 12, right? When I saw The Matrix, right? When I saw The Matrix, I didn't get it. I was like, okay, were they like kind of like these robots? And all right, they're fighting for safety. You know what I mean? You have that superficial story, but then you watch it later as an adult. You're like, oh, they were telling us some deep knowledge. So imagine bringing a kid to see Dune and then they didn't get it, but it's like, right? You know what I mean?
Of course,
like,
of course.
Like story is not like great. It's just like a basic uprising story, but it's like within that basic uprising story, you're doing a social commentary.
Yes, that's what sci-fi is.
And I think that's, yeah, I was about to say, you told me that before, which is like why you love sci-fi, like Battlestar Galactica and like all that stuff, because like sci-fi is literally telling you about your life through a fictional world that
Yeah.
doesn't really exist,
Right.
but
Exactly.
it's very close to what we live. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's why I like Dune, and like Star Wars is also good. But you were saying that Dune ripped off Star Wars. I mean,
Star Wars
no,
ripped off.
Star Wars ripped off Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with the Force and stuff. All right, so to get back to it, yeah, I thought it was really interesting how she was saying if you kill the Messiah, they become more powerful.
Hmm.
You know, and it's like, dude, that's literally our lives, man. Right? Like when the
Right.
Buddha died, you just create these stories because it's like because you said hope, right? And it's really just what you can make people believe,
Hmm.
right? It's like that's why they say don't meet your heroes, right? Because if you like meet them and you're like, oh, they're so human,
Sure. Yeah.
you're kind of
Yeah,
like,
right.
took the magic away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you get what I'm saying?
No, I get that. Yeah.
If they're alive, there's fault. But if they're dead, then whatever story you tell is like what people believe,
Mhm.
and then you like he never made a mistake.
But we do that
He
with
never ate water. You know what I mean?
no, but yeah, we generally do that too, right? When people die, we don't talk about the bad things. We just talk about the good things.
Right.
That's what we leave.
Actually, I've been to a funeral where they did that. Like where they were being realistic, everyone's being like lovey. I won't say what funeral it was, but it was really funny because it was like they were like, "Oh my god, this person was great," and then the other person's like, "Let's not forget that he also had this problem." And I was like, "That's a good point."
Well, this person probably was affected by it, but like, or something like that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like touched deeply by that moment. But you're right though. It's like when they die, we paint this like glowing. It's almost like when you die, you're elevated to like some different status.
I mean, there's a level of trying to be respectful, that kind of thing. So, but when we do that, we in a way venerate them or that kind of stuff. We
Yeah.
only tell the positive things. Yeah.